Thank you, Georgie, for accompanying me. Okay, so let's just settle into this beautiful space, this present time, this present moment. Just close your eyes and begin breathing, taking in a deep breath, the breath of life, the breath of love, and breathing out any sense of tension or stress or strain, letting go of anything in the day that might have been upsetting, just releasing it, letting it go now. Just continuing to breathe and begin to send your energy down your body, down your body, down your legs, down through your feet. And imagine at the bottoms of your feet, there are flower buds, and these petals open and grounding cords drop from your feet. And drop those grounding cords down into the ground, down through all the layers of Mother Earth, the crust, the mantle, the core, and send them down to the very core of the earth and wrap those grounding cords around the core and feel a quickening as you know that you are connected to Mother Earth, and just breathe that wonderful, sustaining, nourishing, nurturing energy of Mother Earth back up those cords, back up into your feet, into your ankles, shins, calves, knees, thighs, and on up to your hips. And now send your awareness to your tailbone, your first chakra area. And take in a deep breath in through the back of this area and breathe in a beautiful ruby red. Breathe it all the way to the front of this chakra, feeling grounded, feeling safe. This is the chakra of belonging, of having your needs met. And this chakra is now harmonized, energized, and balanced. And now, send your awareness into your pelvic area, your second chakra, and breathe in a luscious, juicy orange in through the back of this chakra to the front. This is the chakra of gestation, where divine ideas are held in the arms of love and nurtured as they begin to bloom and blossom. Your second chakra is harmonized, energized, and balanced. And now, send your awareness to your abdomen, your solar plexus, your third chakra. This is the chakra of fully aligned ego, co-creation with the divine. Breathe in a beautiful golden yellow and through the back of the chakra and into the front. Just taking a moment to feel your oneness with Source and your ability to co-create. Your third chakra is harmonized, energized, and balanced. And now bring your awareness into your heart center, feeling compassion, joy, unconditional love, forgiveness. Breathe in a deep emerald green. In through the back of the chakra to the front. Your heart chakra is now harmonized, energized, and balanced. And bring your awareness to your shoulders and your neck, to your fifth chakra, the chakra of your voice, speaking your truth with love. Divine Mother, Divine Father, joyful co-creation. And breathe in a beautiful jewel sky blue. In through the back of your neck and shoulders and to the front. Your fifth chakra is now harmonized, energized, and balanced. And now, bring your awareness up into the area above your nose and in between your eyebrows. This is your third eye, your center of wisdom, of clairvoyance, clear seeing, guidance, and direction at all times. And you can breathe in a beautiful fuchsia, pink, lavender, or indigo, or a combination of all four. Breathing this beautiful light in through the back of this chakra into the front. Your sixth chakra is harmonized, energized, and balanced. And now bring your awareness to the very top of your head, your crown chakra. Just feel a wonderful opening and this wonderful energy of the divine flowing in and through you, flowing into your body, all the way down your body, all the way out through your feet, all the way down into Mother Earth, and just feeling this wonderful balance between earth and heaven, and breathe a beautiful violet light into your crown chakra. Your crown chakra is now harmonized, energized, and balanced. You're grounded from the bottom, you're open from the top to the divine. You're perfectly balanced, whole, complete, and so it is. So it is.
Tonight, what I'd like to talk to you about, this is kind of in two parts. Next Tuesday night, which will stand in for Wednesday night, being Christmas Eve, will be the Christmas story from a metaphysical standpoint, surrounded by a lot of great music. Not only Mary Radspinner, but God, 8 other people are going to be on this stage too, performing. They've been rehearsing for weeks. It's going to be something. But that's going to be kind of the metaphysical side of things. Tonight's a little more practical. It has to do with the science of mind in the management of the holidays. Whatever holidays you observe, if not these holidays, then some other holidays, but what you're going through right now, how you're managing all of this in consciousness. It's called It's the Thought That Counts. Isn't that a great title? It's the thought that counts, because you could use that any time in this teaching, right? It's always the thought that counts. So what is the thought that counts tonight? The thought that counts is the thought that you're having about the season, about the experience that you're going through right now. Are you having a good time? Are we having fun yet? Are we enjoying this? Are you paying more attention to the presidential impeachment than you are to Christmas? I'm not here to make you wrong if you are. I am here to say you're going to wake up mid-January and be sad. Because impeachments come and go. My lifetime, they've been sort of 2.5. And one was no fun because the guy quit and went away, but they come and go, and the Christ remains. The Christ Spirit remains. This is what we're called to. And I come to you to say this today straight out of an Emma Hopkins class. Yeah, there was a board meeting between that and this, but it didn't damage, it didn't dent in any way the Emma-tude that I came out of that room with our students, where she says this: the world will persist in exhibiting before you what you persist in affirming the world is. Where she says the world is the exact record of your thoughts. Where she said, if you experience disease, dis-ease of any kind, it is because you have first believed in such a thing. Change your belief and the experience is free to lift up and go. I needed to hear that. I need to read that. Whenever I read that, and whenever I give these talks to you, I'm talking principally to myself. And you get to overhear. Because what I'm reminding myself of is what I know is true, what keeps me healthy, what keeps me balanced, what keeps me strong. That there is one life. That life is spirit, that life is all the life there is. So this is a sacred season. It's not only the sacred season of Christianity, of course, it's the sacred season in many different faith traditions. And it's the sacred season always in many different faith traditions, whether we're aware of them or not. But all the sacred seasons are coming together to tell us that there is something that's real, that's sacred, that sits at the center of the circle around which we traverse. And this thing that sits at the center, Spirit, is our source. In the Western world, we picture it often as the Christ. The reason why, if you read Ernest Holmes and Emma Hopkins and these others, they're constantly bringing up Christ. It's Christ this and Jesus that, and finally you think Christ, and you just close the book. But why they're saying this all the time is because they realize they're talking to a group of people who were probably raised with this. And if they were talking about the Vishnu consciousness, it just wouldn't register the same. Or even Wakantanka, you know, it kind of sail over your head. And it would seem like you were reading, I don't know, anthropology or something. Instead of that which is really hitting you where it lives, in the heart. And so they use the Christian metaphor. In this place, as you see, we use many metaphors, but the reason we keep coming back to the Christ is most of us are familiar with it. And I had somebody just the other day come in and they said, there are no crosses in here. I can't be in this place. I can't breathe in here because there are no crosses in here. So there are 2 crosses in here. Nobody else rates 2. You don't see 2 menorahs. There are 2 crosses in here on either side of the doors back there. The Orthodox cross and the Latin cross. Why are they back there? 2 reasons. One is so I can see them. No. Why they're back there is because that's where you enter. Most of us have entered between those 2 pillars. Remember the 2 pillars of the temple in 2 Kings? Are you a Bible student? There were 2 pillars of the temple that held it up. Well, you pass through the two crosses back there. So that's why we use the Christian metaphor. But of course, it's also Hanukkah coming up. And Hanukkah, as you probably know, is not the Jewish Christmas. It's a very minor holiday in the Hebrew calendar. It starts Sunday night. But it's been amplified in purpose because Jewish kids watch their Christian classmates doing Christmas. And so Jewish families have to, it used to be just gelt and latkes. Now Jewish families have had to step up and buy presents for their kids because the Christian kids are getting presents, and it seems sad. And so it used to be, you know, you kept your menorah at the table. Now you see blue candles in the windows because the Christians are putting candles in the windows. So it's been sort of Christianified, if you will, especially in the Reform path. But it has to do with similar things, but not the identical same thing. It's not the birth of a child who comes into the world to save all of us. It's a light that will not fail because of oil. It's in a lamp whereby they can clean the temple. After they've routed the Syrians out of it, they can purge the temple and have their sacred services there. And then we have Yule, which is coming up on Saturday. And we will observe it here both Saturday and Sunday with the Women's Solstice Circle and then the Yule Circle led by a Wiccan priestess that we'll have here on Sunday morning. Well, this is the sacred season. So now that we've been through the sacred season, we come to the question of how do you feel about all of it? Are you having a good time with it? Then I have some suggestions whether you are or you aren't. One is don't do it how you've always done it just for the sake of doing it that way again. Unless doing it that way feeds you. Are there traditions that you undertake that feed you? There's a family in Pennsylvania, I think it is. They have a 147-year-old fruitcake. Have you seen this?
Yes.
I'm not making this up.
No, I've seen it.
Yeah, 147-year-old fruitcake that's been in the family. The fruitcake has been on Leno. He had a little piece of it when Leno was on. They don't eat the fruitcake, is why it's still here, but they had a little bite of the fruitcake for Leno, and he said it needs more time, which was hilarious. But why do they bring this? It won't rot because it has no water in it. The caramelized sugar and whatnot, they ran it by Good Housekeeping Kitchens or somebody who said it's perfectly safe to eat. It will be ghastly to the taste if you do eat it. But it's safe. Well, they don't want to eat it because great-great-great-great-grandma baked it. And I think then she fell dead. And so, in her honor, my God, we're in mourning. We can't eat the cake she just baked. They put it aside, as you do with fruitcakes. As you know, you get these. You may pass them around every year. And then one thing led to another, and here it's a century and almost a half later, and the thing is still in the family. And they're still guarding it and protecting it. And every year, somebody finds this family again, and they get a news mention about them and the fruitcake, you know? Now they like this, no pun intended, it's feeding them this tradition. This tradition is good for them. They like this. They're proud of this. They're proud that something has been around that long and it makes them special and so on, you know. But what if, well, I mean, dream along with me here. What if they had to bring out the damn fruitcake again? We got to get out that nasty, filthy thing that's been sitting in the sideboard. It's time to bring it out again. Well, I don't want to. Well, you have to. It's your turn this time. And it was drudgery. How would that be? That would be sad, wouldn't it? But you know how many people go through their holidays doing that kind of thing? It's like it's time to put up the damn tree. Sharon, you remember one year we even joked about that. We had a tradition here for a long time. The heartfelt living class got to put up the tree.
Or whatever class I was in.
Or whatever class she was in. Sharon finally gave up and said, I'll put up the tree every year. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But it became, and there was somebody, you were good-natured about it, but there was somebody besides you whose malfortune it was to be in heartfelt living and then treatment meditation, then something else. It all fell right after Thanksgiving, and for 3 years in a row they had to put up the tree, and they were not happy about it with the class project. Why? I don't know. It's none of my business. But they probably had some trauma around Christmas. You know, people do. And I'll never forget, I know I've told you this before, but I got to tell you again, because some stuff is too good to not, bring back. There was a woman here, when I was very new doing ministry, and the center was very new, there was a woman here who was twice my age, and I was going on in this youthful, enthusiastic way about, hey, it's Christmas, isn't that great? And she said, no, it's not. No, it's not at all. Oh, why not? Well, I have to cook. I have to clean. I have to entertain. I have to have people, and I have to do this and this and this, and it starts a week, 2 weeks beforehand, and it goes a week, 2 weeks afterward. And no, it's not fun at all. And I was like, oh man, and I thought, I'll treat about that. I'll treat that she has a better attitude. Think about that. I mean, isn't that kind of stupid? I'll treat that she has a better attitude about it rather than I'll wake up and smell the coffee that somebody else is putting in a lot of work here. Because I wasn't cooking for a family, and I wasn't cleaning for a family, and I wasn't decorating the whole place or shopping for children, And you come to be aware. Which leads me to this. That's what the meaning increasingly for me is of compassion. The word compassion. The experience of compassion. It's not so much this big, icky, psychological thing of deep relation, soul to soul, as much as it is just putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. What if that were me? Would I like that? When Jesus said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, he was talking about compassion at a real practical level, to put yourself in their shoes. Would you like to have it be done unto you that way? And even better, he might have added, you know where this is going, he might have said, do unto others as the others would have done unto them. Not so much as the reality you picked out for them, but what they want. Because it is the thought that counts. And if you're gifting somebody, have you gotten all your packages already? They're working night and day at Amazon for you if you want. They stand there. Amazon employees stand there and a robot brings them stuff to put in a box. It sounds almost inhuman. So I encourage you to patronize small businesses locally. Yeah. Amazon's doing just fine. Small businesses locally and live music locally too. Well, if you haven't gotten all your presents bought and you're deciding what to get for boom, consider this. What do they want? Not what you think they should have. Not if you're a metaphysician, what you think will make them a better person. I want you to have this Science of Mind textbook. Yes. Isn't this great? It's not what they want. Maybe it's good for them. Maybe they'll get around to reading it. but it's really kind of pushy. As it would be to you if they were in some kind of screwball teaching and they gave you its source document, right? So what you want to do is you want to listen to people. What are they good at? And really start listening before now. I mean, you still have time and all, there's a week, but the best part is somebody will drop a real broad hint in the summer. You know, I've always thought it might be fun to play the trombone. They'll say, offhandedly in August, remember that. Maybe you don't want to spring for a trombone. They can be pricey, and maybe they're not fully committed. But get them an album by Trombone Shorty from New Orleans, and let them listen to it, and maybe that'll, one thing will lead to another. Let people drop these hints and make these images for you, and then follow up on them. And that's how you please people, because what people want more than anything else really is to be heard. They want to be recognized. You know what Ernest Holmes said about this? He said the world, or people, he said people in the world, are dying for someone to tell them they're all right. They're dying for someone to tell them. They're not dying for someone to explain to them the secrets of the universe. They're not dying for someone to explain to them why they themselves aren't happier than they are and how they created everything they got. They're responsible for all of this and so forth. That's not what they're dying for. They're pretty much dying from it. They're not dying for it. What they're dying for, and he meant it metaphorically, is for someone to just tell them they're all right. You're all right, just the way you are. And one way you can do that is through a sensitive gift. Another way, of course, is through words. Another way is through appropriate touch. Another way is through music. And we were talking about this in the class earlier, the music. If you are into chakras, then the world looks like chakras. Emma taught us this too. Whatever it is you're into, whatever it is you believe, the whole world shows up like that. It's kind of like if, a different base of mathematics or something. The world sorts itself into that amount. The whole world is made of maroon chairs with people in them, I don't know. But that's how consciousness works. It's what you believe, it tends to manifest, and then you see it everywhere. So if you're a chakra-minded person, you see the chakras, you see the colors, you see the organs associated with them. Maybe not see them visually, but you sense them kind of everywhere you go. And it looks like a chakraic universe. You could actually make a religion out of that, okay? And that's to remind you of something, not only that you believe, but it's also something that happens to be good for you. I've never met anybody who believes in the existence of chakras, feels they have some role in their life, who's done that in an unhealthy way. I don't think you can OD on chakras, in other words, okay? It's good for you. Your diet, metabolically, attitudinally, all the rest of it, it's good for you. So why I'm telling you this is what I propose is that all around us right now, maybe a little less than before, and that came up in class too, but still all around us now there are Christmas carols. There's Christmas music out there. Radios are different, how we get our music, more it's in the pods, and it's private, but there's still some that's broadcast out there where you might not have been expecting it or even wanting it, but there it is. Let it be a reminder to you. Let it be a mantra to you. Let it be like the chakra awareness. Oh yeah, I was thinking about presidential impeachment, and now I can think about the little drummer boy. Now I can think about on the 7th day of Christmas, how many were there of what, and what were they doing again, and how does all of that work? Now I can think about the 3 kings and the gifts they brought. And were there really 3 of them? It doesn't say in Scripture. There could have been a lot more, but 3 is a nice, 2 is, 1 is lonely, and 2 is, conspiratorial or something, but 3 of them, there's kind of a balance, it checks and balances of power. Oh wait, that reminds me of government again. But anyway, there's the 3 of them kind of working it out. You have frankincense and myrrh, which are similar, and gold, which isn't. And 2 of them which are spiritual, and 1 is material, and more on that next Tuesday night. But suddenly I get to be reminded of this stuff. And so it puts me in a nostalgic place. Where I grew up, in an apartment building in New York City, around this time of year, there was often snow on the ground. It was always cold. Colder than this, snowy. And people, like everywhere, went to work right up to Christmas Eve. Maybe they got a half day off on Christmas Eve, and so on. And it's a college area, neighborhood area. And also it's where the World Council of Churches has its headquarters, and there's several large church institutions right in the area. So you had religion and education. The Jewish Theological Seminary was right there. Union Theological was right there. Juilliard had been right there, and then they moved down to Lincoln Center. And so it's a vibrant neighborhood, a lot of young people, a lot of stuff going on. But there was this old guy who lived down the block. I was in 35 and he was in 16 Claremont, the apartment building. And he was a pediatrician. He had his office on the first floor, and I was one of his patients when I was a little kid. Gave me the smallpox vaccination. That's now a marker, by the way. It used to, I digress, but it used to be Howdy Doody. If you knew the theme song to Howdy Doody, you were of a certain age, and if you were younger than that, you didn't, and it was a dividing line. Now it's the smallpox vaccination, where they poke the little holes in the circle, and if you have this thing and kids today aren't getting it, it's getting delivered in a different way. Well, anyway, Dr. Stimson was his name, and he was an interesting character. His father had been Secretary of War before it was called the Department of Defense before the Second World War. And he was my pediatrician. Well, every Christmas Eve, this guy, for years before I was born, and up until the time I left the area, and he passed in the mid-70s, he gathered the whole neighborhood out on the street to sing Christmas carols. All you had to bring was a jar with a candle in it. And he provided sheet music. And there were Christians, and there were lots and lots of Jews, because it was a predominantly Jewish neighborhood. There were Holocaust survivors. One of them was the father of friends of mine. There were old people, young people, wonderful singers, because there were theatrical and musical people in the area, and awful singers, because my family was there. And we sang God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. We sang all the stuff you could possibly think of. And one year, when it snowed particularly heavily, a news crew came down the street at WABC, and they're filming us, standing there saying, as the closing, you watch the news, the good night piece, the sign-off piece, there's a bit of good news, a cool thing that your neighbors are up to, and that was the kind of deal, And it had such an effect on me, and every time I hear even the most worked over, rehashed, mangled version of any kind of Christmas song that was anywhere in that, on those sheets that we worked through on those Christmas Eves, throws me back there. And back there is a good place for me. There was a lot of love then. There's a lot of warmth, and a lot of my family was still all on the planet, and it was just a great time. I don't live back there. I don't want to live back there. I'm really happy with where my life is today. But the song from Maine, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinet. We need a little Christmas now. I get it. I get something better than a smallpox shot. I get an inoculation of joy when I feel this. Notice at what all is coming at you with that, offering this to you. And try not to bat it away out of habit of adulthood and cleverness and cynicism and armor to the pain behind which our pain is held. No, I daren't feel that, because I'll just collapse in a heap. Lisa put this amazing thing on the center Facebook page about tears and how great tears are, right? You got tears? Do tears. dew of tears. You come out the other side of that cleansed. One last thing for you. I always have one last thing. I didn't know this, but they have, God, I love the internet. You know, they have, on your news feeds, they have like, here are the, do you know your state fish? That was one the other day. Do you know your state fish? And God, I wasted, what, 7 minutes sitting there scrolling through. And by the time you get to Tennessee, the thing seizes up before it hits Texas, and you got to reload the page, you know. And I'm like, do I need to know what the state fish of Tennessee is? No, but I'm desperate to know what Texas is. Like, what is it supposed to be? It's probably a catfish, or I was thinking red snapper because of the Gulf, but no, it's a certain kind of bass, freshwater bass in the hill country. Anyway, know your state. I get sucked in to these things. I just get whatever it is, especially if it's 50 of them. If it's the 50 states, the best hamburger. I'm not going to have a hamburger in Alaska next week, but there it is. Anyway, I got sucked in. So I got sucked in last night. There are 41 things I didn't know about the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Now I know them, and you'll want to ask me soon before I forget, and because I largely don't care. So, but right now, I'm bursting with information about this. How it was made, what kind of snow they used on the streets, where it was filmed, the city and the town in New York, that it's Seneca Falls that it's supposedly based on, and so on and so forth. But I learned one thing I'm not letting go of. I learned one thing, and I'm going to pass it on to you. And it was this. When Jimmy Stewart got the part, and Cary Grant had wanted it. Can you see that? No. Jimmy Stewart got the part of George Bailey. And you know the plot of the movie. If you don't, this is not really a spoiler. But after he tries to throw himself in the river and he gets fished out by the angel, and he gets to see how life would have been without him. And it's pretty bad. And the town is turned into Vegas, you know? And all of the things that are good and kindly and wholesome seem to have just picked up and left. And he's in trouble now because he's gone and he found the librarian that would be in real life the person he would marry, and he makes a scene and she's naturally scared and so on. And basically he's run out of town now. He's punched in the nose at the bar. You remember the scene where he goes back to the river and he kneels down at the bridge and he says, "Oh God, God help me, God help me, do something here, relieve me of this burden." And Clarence is near, the angel is nearby. Well, yeah, I remember that part. It said he cried real tears. And George Cukor, I think it was, who was the director, he said, "What an actor. What an actor. Look at him. He gets himself completely out of the way as an actor, and you feel it's the real man there." And he says, "I was an actor." He says, "When I knelt in summertime on a set in RKO's back lot, I was able to kneel there and I was able to take on and feel the pain of loneliness and anguish that someone in my position would have, and it broke my heart. And I had to weep. And it was packaged up and it was canned and it's a great movie and off we go and all like this. But he broke through to something right there that's calling to each of us right now to feel the world, feel the pain of it, feel the excruciating joy of it. And that's the thing about especially Christmas. For those of you from the Christmas tradition, this thing is beautiful. It hurts so good. It is so beautiful and it is so painful together together exactly because of losses. I have to go tomorrow and be with a family who lost their husband this week. The wife, they're not from CLC, they're from another organization I'm part of. And the wife and the 3 kids and the eldest son, John Jr., spitting image of his dad. Now he's 25 maybe. Looks just like his dad. Thought he'd have Christmas with his dad. Thought they'd all be together next week. Probably already had some of the food bought, certainly the presents and all like this, you know. It's going to break my heart to be with them. But it would kill my heart not to, you know. And that's the thing. And so all around us now, the angels singing. We just thought they were all singing cheerful stuff. We just all thought they were singing melody. But no, they're singing harmony. They're singing in concord. They're singing occasionally in a little bit of discord. Because it fits. Ask Georgie as a guitarist. You resolve discord into concord. You go from the 7th to the 8th, you know? It's all seeking in. Follow that light in the east, and you can't go wrong. So I wish you the happiest of holidays. I certainly hope to see you Sunday when we're having the Yule celebration, the Yule Circle. It's not a lecture, it's very experiential, the Yule thing that we'll do with Natalie at 9:30. And then you'll get a lecture out of me at 11. And then next Tuesday, big musical service and candlelighting for Christmas Eve, as Lisa has told you about. And Marcia's Women's Solstice on Saturday preceding all of that. So much always out there if you get a chance. You know, take in some live music too. So let's know together now, there is one life, one power, one presence, pure spirit, everywhere manifesting, everywhere radiant, everywhere the angels are bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. And why are they doing this, we ask? They're doing this to remind us of our divine estate, remind us of who we truly are. We are angels clad in human form. We've just folded our wings for a while. Folded them up under jackets and sweaters and so on. For the purpose of getting things done. Wings can get in the way, knock things over, get caught in doors and so on. But we are angels nonetheless. And as angels, we are cast with angelic powers. You and I have the power to heal. There's one power, this is true, but we are agents of it. So we may claim that power as our own, not limited to us, but with us certainly. And we are agents of joy, and we are agents of transformation. Agents of inspiration, agents of encouragement. The next house you drive by that's draped in lights, whether it's a big old sprawling suburban mansion or it's a little tiny industrial area apartment, say to yourself, there the Christ lives. I affirm and know blessings and bounty outpouring on this family and all who love them. Offer the gift of blessing and encouragement to all who cross your mental field, including those from long, long ago. If they loved you once, their heart still beats in eternity. May this time be blessed. And for this knowing and its manifestation in form, in and through each one of us, I am so deeply grateful. I release this word now into the infinite, calling it done, and so it is.